All right, so when you travel, it's always about counting the cost and what you can fly with, what you can't fly with. Your most important piece of equipment, you don't have to take with you. And I'm about to take you somewhere and show you how to get it for almost free. Okay, we all know that if it's TV or film, just because of what we do, it's more expensive. Well, there's a lot of DIY stuff you can find in a hardware store. And one of my favorites, one that I've done a million times, is reflectors. Hard reflectors. So I'm in the insulation aisle at Home Depot. And hey, look, they do have what I'm looking for. All right, so here's what we got. This is just simple insulation board. And there have been Home Depots where I've only been able to find the pink stuff, which doesn't work for our needs. But I found exactly what I wanted at Home Depot. So it's pretty thin. It's silver on one side, and on the other side, it's mostly white. We're gonna make our reflectors in the parking lot because that's not gonna fit in the rental car. But when I'm done, I'm gonna have 2 to 3 hard reflectors that are disposable. I can cut the corners off them. I can tear them up. If I want to get a ring light look, I can cut a hole in the middle of this, put my camera in it, and shoot that way. Reflectors are the #1 thing, and I'll show you more about like basic techniques of reflectors, but most of us know. And the white side works, and this is way better than using a door like I did in Peru. Also, don't be a doofus and get this first. Get your other stuff first because you're not walking around like an idiot, which is exactly what I'm doing. I'm also gonna pick up a box cutter and we're gonna just get some cheap duct tape. Okay, any tape will work. I still do black because I'm a production person, but gray, anything. This stuff's gonna get gummy. It's gonna get a little lame. So if you're gonna keep the reflector for a long time, use gaff tape. Okay, so rarely do you have a vehicle where this actually fits inside it, right? So what I often do is I'll just build it in the parking lot, or at least cut it to size. So you can determine what size you want. I normally like a 4x square, works great. But I can get 2 of these and I'm gonna double it up. So you kind of plan it out a little bit. I'm gonna go kind of guerrilla and just eyeball it. There's this writing on the back. So I'll look at the size of the vehicle and be like, there's a line here. All right, let's do that. Because it's a reflector, you don't have to be that exact. And it's okay if it's a little jacked. Because you're gonna throw this away after you shoot anyways, right? So that's 1.5. So now I've got a little one I can cut into little pieces if I want. I can use it as a flag. So now I'm just gonna grab my razor blade, bada bang. There. Now it's gonna fit in the car. A lot of times I'll buy 2 sheets because I like to have 2 about this size. What I'm doing, I'm not gonna be in the wind very much, and so I may just use them without doubling them up. So next, we'll go back to the house, and then I've got a little bit of time. I'll show you how I put the tape around it and finish it off. Although, you can probably figure it out on your own. I would normally take a little more time, but Donna got breakfast and I'm hungry. Let's go. All right, so I got my stuff. Rolling solo with the camera, so I apologize. I'm gonna cut off my little sliver here. Now, just a little. You don't have to be nice to this stuff. Okay, so little pro tip. I love the little ones for coming in and just doing a little eye light underneath the camera, right? Also, I cut one of these specifically to size for the bottom of my Pelican case, It's just underneath the foam, and I always have an emergency hardboard. The reason that I like hardboards instead of those pop-up flex fill reflectors that we've always used is that when you're in the wind, they'll wobble back and forth, and what happens is you get that like I'm standing by a pool look. And a hardboard is so much more better. It's just better, right? So let me do the final cut on this. What I'll often do is I'll just do one on the end, like that. And then one on the end there, because the corners are what take the most abuse. So do the corner like that, and then do the tape all the way around. I really do love stuff that doesn't have to be exact. I know there are some very particular people that would be upset at these looking as wonky as they are. So I'm sorry. There you go. It's not perfect, but it doesn't need to be. You'd be surprised, even on a shady day, you can get a nice pop out of a reflector. In this particular scenario, right? I've got sun coming in, I'm in the shade, but if I position this correctly, right? Like, let's take this white. You know what? This is hard all by yourself. Hang on, I'm gonna flip the camera. All right, so there's no effort in setting this up here, right? I look for where the sun is, bada bang, it's picking up the sun. So, I mean, obviously, I'm not doing this super pretty, but I am solidly in the reflector light. And I've done it by myself. Nobody's around. And if I want to flip it around and make it whiter and prettier, can do that. Ooh, soft fill. I might just redo this with subjects so you can see what I'm talking about, because it's hard. You get the idea. You've used reflectors before. Another little tip is when you have a perfectly square reflector, if you cut the corners off, right? So then it's a what? An octagon. Then you can tilt it up and put it in the corner of your ceiling, and it'll hold because of the edges matching the, geometry. So it's a great way to just pop it in, and then when you're gonna bounce something, instead of bouncing it off the ceiling, you can bounce it at an angle. I hope that helps. I'm a little busy today, but I wanted to at least say, hey, I do this everywhere. I do this everywhere. In fact, I was on a shoot recently where we were in Florida, and I had a friend who lives in Florida that was helping us, and then a friend from Virginia came down with me. Well, no, we flew down. And so I was like, hey, we're gonna have to go to Lowe's and build some reflectors. And the guy from Virginia was like, yeah, man, I still have your reflectors in my garage from the last shoot you did near me. And the guy from Florida was like, don't worry about it. I brought the reflectors that you made last time you were shooting in Florida. So I kind of feel like I'm like a reflector ambassador, leaving reflectors all around the country. I'm still using lights today, but now I've got some large sources that I can bounce the lights into, or when we go outside, I got two. One is a back, one is a key. So I can do a soft fill, and I can do a hard backlight without having to use the sun as the hard backlight, or I can augment, and I have plenty of flexibility. So if I need two reflectors, I just take my razor blade, cut this in half, I'm good to go. I got my second one that I can use as a little glamour pop light right under the lens if I want. Use it as an eye light right next to it. So It's a great way of cheating when you're on a low budget. So I hope it helps, guys. If you like what I'm saying, if it's helping you at all, please feel free to like and subscribe, because I'm just getting started and it would be nice to know that somebody cares. Thanks, man. Talk to you later. Bye.